Welcome. I would like to welcome you to episode 498 of the Unpopular Podcast. This is the man, the myth, the legend, Jalen Hunter. Here at the Unpopular Podcast, not only asked you to agree with me, I'm asking you to hear me out. This entire episode is going to be about the NBA playoffs. I'm going to break down the first round matchups and give my prediction on who wins those matchups and why. I'm going to talk about each team and just who, at the end, I'm probably just going to give who I think is going to win it all. But this is going to be my breakdown. With that being said, at the time of this recording, I'm recording this Friday afternoon. The last games of the play-in hasn't happened. I believe the Miami Heat are playing the Atlanta Hawks, and the Dallas Mavericks are playing the Memphis Grizzlies. No offense to either one of those teams. Shout out for making it to the play-in, especially when you look at a team like the Dallas Mavericks that just went through hell ever since trading Luka Doncic. And Memphis Grizzlies, with injuries and everything. I don't know. At the time of this recording, obviously the games haven't started. I don't know who is playing who. I don't know. But the reason why that doesn't really matter to me is I don't think either one of these teams has a chance against both the Thunder and the Cavaliers. Spoiler alert, I think, yes, obviously they're number one or whatever, but when we talk about either the Atlanta Hawks or the Miami Heat, here's the thing about the Cavaliers, and we're starting with the Eastern Conference. Here's the thing about the Cavaliers. The reason why a lot of people have been on this wait-and-see mode when it comes to the playoffs is because we have the Donovan Mitchell teams have a track record of being incredibly good in the regular season, but kind of fall short in the playoffs. I mean, there were years where the Utah Jazz were, I think, the number one seed or at least a high seed in the playoffs and then end up doing nothing or end up collapsing in epic fashion. This does feel different, though. When we talk about this Cavaliers team, they're balanced. They have two really good go-to scorers in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. And I do want to shout them two out because kind of like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, when that pairing happened and some of the evidence that we've seen with the Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell pairing, it didn't look like it was going to work. Neither one of those players are really good defensively, and both of those players thrive with the ball in their hands. Donovan Mitchell doesn't do much off the ball, and Darius Mitchell doesn't do much off the ball. So you have two players that essentially their superpower their superpower gets activated when the ball's in their hand. They're incredible scorers. And I just didn't think that was going to work, especially the first few years of them together. It just didn't look good. It didn't look like they were syncing. Well, that's pretty much over with. They look incredible together. Defensively, they're still not great, but when you have DeAndre Hunter, when you have Evan Mobley, when you have Jared Allen, this is a great team, and it's a deep team. Ty Jerome has come into his own. It's like Okoro. They have a great team, and in the playoffs, one thing that you do know is you're going to go as far as your best player takes you. Now, that doesn't mean that your best player can just put the team on his back and just take you to glory, especially when you have as many good teams as you have in the playoffs. But if your best player is playing the best, you have a chance of going far. And that's what it's a wait and see for Donovan Mitchell. I mean, last year, they had a better team than the Knicks, but Donovan Mitchell got outplayed by Jaylen Brown, and essentially the Knicks outplayed the Cavaliers, which allowed the Knicks to advance. Both teams look drastically different. The Cavaliers have been on a tear this entire season. They've been statistically I think the best team when we talk about streaks, when we talk about stats, team wise, they've been the best team in basketball. I'm not going to say the deepest team, but they've been the best team. And it is very interesting that while they are the best team, most people have a wait and see approach when it comes to them. Because I'll say this, whether it's the Heat or the Atlanta Hawks, they have no shot. Well, let's talk about those two for a second. Let's just talk about the Heat. The Heat it's been a roller coaster ride ever since they traded away Jimmy Butler. Now, Tyler Euro has come into his own this season. He's had an incredible season when healthy. The scoring punch that they needed from him and that they hoped they were going to get from him coming out of Kentucky, he has done that in droves this year. He has been their most consistent player when he's been available this year. And you can, as a Heat fan, you can kind of convince yourself that the Heat are in a better place without Jimmy Butler because you have Tyler Euro and he doesn't really have to share the ball with Jimmy Butler. And you have someone like Andrew Wiggins. When he plays, he has been really good for the Heat. But this team is very dependent on players that haven't shown the ability to step up in big moments. Yes, Tyler Hero had a great game, the first play-in game. I think it was against the Bulls, but you're about to be thrusted into a situation when you're the guy. Bam Adebayo is great, but unless you're someone like Jokic, unless you're someone like Joel Embiid, in the sense of you can, as a big man, you can initiate the offense, you can get your own bucket, which Bam Adebayo hasn't really proven the ability to do right now. It's going to be on Tyler Hero. It's going to be on Andrew Wiggins. And I don't know, especially when you have DeAndre Hunter on the other end, especially when Tyler Hero is going to have to guard either Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland. I don't think he's going to be able to really keep up. And on top of that, Bam is going to have to go against probably the best defensive front court in basketball when we talk about Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley, he can be the deciding factor of this series. If they play and if they make it past the Atlanta Hawks, you're about to go against Evan Mobley. I think at this point, especially when you talk about defensively and offensively, I think you can argue that he's better than a Bam Adebayo. And I just don't see a matchup where it favors the Miami Heat going up against the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not going to lie to you, yo. The Atlanta Hawks is not a good team. They have been, I think they've benefited greatly for how weak the East has been outside of the top, let's say, 5, 6. They have benefited from having a star in Trae Young, having some complementary pieces, but as an overall team, they're not that good. And I know I said that you're only as good as your best player and your best player can take you far, but when you're someone like Trae Young, who we've seen him at his best in the playoffs, hell, he single-handedly pretty much propelled the Atlanta Hawks past the Knicks, 2-3 years ago? That's 2-3 years ago. And you're going up against a complete team. If they were to make it to the Cavaliers, they're not that good of a team. They don't score that well outside of Trae Young. The stats might say differently, but if you watch the game, Trae Young is the engine, the wheels, the whole car essentially. And I don't see, that's why I would usually like to wait until the play-in is over and we can get a full feel of who's playing who, but I don't think any one of these teams has a chance to beat the Cavaliers, to be completely honest with you. And I'm going to talk about the West a little bit later, so I'm going to talk about the other play-in just in a second. But I'll say this: no matter if it's if it's the Heat or it's the Hawks, the Cavaliers are beating them, and I don't think it's going to be fairly close. I might give each of them a game, maybe a gentleman's sweep, but the Cavaliers have been the best team in basketball majority of the year, so I don't see that changing. Obviously, the playoffs are different than the regular season, but I think the Cavaliers are a good team, so I have the Cavs in that one. Let's move over to the 4-5 matchup, and I think this matchup right here is really dependent on the news that we just got, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, about Damian Lillard's health. Damian Lillard, he's been out for a long period of time due to blood clots, and I think Shams reported that he is cleared to play. Now, he's not going to play game 1, but I think that he's cleared to play maybe game 2 and on, so we'll see what happens. This Bucks team cannot win against the Pacers. They can't win against any team in the East. They cannot win a championship if they don't have a healthy Giannis and a healthy Damian Lillard. Giannis, to Giannis's credit, he has been incredible in the absence of Damian Lillard. I think he had like 3 or 4 straight, maybe triple doubles. He has shown why he has been in the conversation for the best player in the world. In fact, in that span of time where Damian Lillard has not been on the court, you can argue and have a really good argument that Giannis has been the best player in the world. When you have a player like that, he is by far the best player in this series. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an advantage. Their only advantage is Giannis if Dame didn't play. But as we've seen, it hasn't really worked to the tune of which I'm sure Milwaukee would have hoped it would work when we talk about the Kyle Kuzma move. And outside of that, they don't really have the team that can put fear in your heart, if that makes sense. Giannis is great, but when you look at this Pacers team, this Pacers team has been the same since Tyrese Halliburton. It's been the same. They're not great defensively outside of Miles Turner, but they can run you off the court. They're a really good, really fast offensive team. And if Dame didn't play, I would wholeheartedly think and probably predict that the Pacers would beat this Bucks team. The Bucks, they're good defensively because of, no, that's not even true. Giannis is good defensively. Brook Lopez, he's kind of gotten older. Kyle Kuzma's not good defensively. I know you have Taurean Prince, but you know what I'm saying. And I can't underestimate or I can't understate how important Damian Lillard's presence is to this team. You're gonna have to outduel Tyrese Halliburton, who I think Damian Lillard wholeheartedly can. And Pascal Siakam, he's gonna be paired up with Giannis. Those are the neutralizing factors. Actually, not really neutralizing because I think Giannis is gonna kill Pascal Siakam. But Damian Lillard coming back is the biggest and probably the best news that the Bucks could have received, because you do not want to go into the playoffs with just your one star. Because as we've seen, there's a reason why they're the 5th seed with Giannis playing as good as he's been playing. Because they have a shot. They have a really good shot when both are playing at their best. They have a really good shot of contending for a championship. If one is just there, they do not have a good shot, in my opinion. They have a good shot of getting bounced out the first round. So I am interested to see how this first game goes. seeing as though it's going to be an Indy. But I, I don't think that they can keep up with a Giannis and Dame. Now, it is interesting to see how the Dame we get. He ain't played in a couple weeks due to the blood clot, so how his conditioning is going to be. But I don't know. Again, I know that the Pacers are a really fast and really explosive offensive team, and that's what they hope to do. They hope that they can outscore you. They hope that they can force you into turnovers so they can get in fast breaks. They have a maestro in Tyrese Halliburton that is great facilitating, is great offensively. As far as, I think he has the most games with like 20 assists or 10 assists or something like that with no turnovers. Like that's the type of player that you're getting. Tyrese, I know a lot of people like to bag on Tyrese Halliburton because he may not have the flashiest game. He may not be the flashiest of people. And when he got that big contract, it was kind of hard to justify. Like, whoa, why are you giving this man a max? And I was even like, hold on, Tyrese Halliburton, he's good and all, but you think he deserves all that? And I know a lot of people don't want to admit it, but Tyrese Halliburton has more than justified why he gets the contract that he gets. And this Pacers team would be lost without him. Even with Pascal Siakam, they would not be that good at all. And I think this is very interesting. It's a lot closer than I think a lot of people want to think, because the Pacers isn't a popular team to root for and to watch or whatever, but I can't stress enough how important Damian Lillard coming back to this Pacers or to this Bucks team changes the complexion of this series. I'm going to pick the Bucks because they have, in my opinion, Giannis and Dame coming back. But I think this series is a lot closer, especially even when you look at the season series. It wasn't lopsided. So I'm going to go with the Bucks upsetting the Pacers, seeing as though they're the 5th seed going against the 4th. But yeah, the Bucks have to think they're lucky stars that Giannis is back. I mean, no, that Dame is back. Their offense just runs smoother. Now, no, I will also say this, and the only person that from Pascal Siakam to Tyrese Halliburton to Dame to Giannis, you can throw Miles Turner in there. The only person that you can really, I feel you can really trust on the defensive side of the ball is Giannis. Miles Turner as well. So we'll say 2 people. But he's never been a defensive player. Tyrese Halliburton is not a defensive player. Pascal Siakam is not a defensive player. So I think the fact that I expect a lot of high scoring games, because one thing that we've seen from the Bucks is the importance of a Jrue Holiday, and why you have a lot of people saying that the Bucks may have possibly been better with Jrue Holiday than it was with Dame. I'm not necessarily gonna agree with that, but I will say that the team looks different. And I've talked about this before on past episodes. When your whole identity, when your mindset, there's a difference between learning how to play defense and having a defensive mindset. You can learn defense is all about effort, in a sense of the base level of defense is effort. If you give effort, you're a base level defender. I'll give you an example. I think Steph Curry, as great as he is a base level defender. Yeah, he's really good in the passing lanes, but he's not the quickest. He tries hard on the defensive side of the ball, so he's going to be a base level defender. That doesn't mean that he is ever going to win no defensive player of the year. That doesn't mean he's going to be on any defensive first, second, third teams, but he is going to give effort. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get the stop either, but he's going to get effort. When you talk about someone like Draymond Green, that is, defense is who he is. He is a defensive-minded player. He's a very intelligent defensive player. Not saying that Steph Curry's dumb or anything, but what I'm saying is it just looks different. Klay Thompson was obviously, he's gotten up there in age and injury and everything, but Klay Thompson was a defensive minded player. Drew Holiday is a defensive minded player. Damian Lillard is not. And Damian Lillard also does. It seems like he doesn't really try that much on defense. He's not as bad as some people, but neither is Tyrese Halliburton. So just expect a lot of high scoring games and a lot of the defensive pressure, especially on the Bucks, even with Dame, has been on Giannis because Brook Lopez is finally showing his age. He hasn't really been that good this year. I don't. So defensively, I don't know, but I think that if you can keep up with them scoring, which you're going to be able to with the Giannis, who I think this is his. I think they're saying his sixth consecutive year where he averaged like over 30 or something like that. Yeah, that man's a freak of nature. I'm going to go with the Bucks upsetting the Pacers in the first round. This to me is one of the most intriguing matchups of the first round, and that is the Knicks Pistons. I hope that I understand. I know this is probably not going to happen. I've talked about it, but I would love JB Bickerstaff to win Coach of the Year. Mind you, this Pistons team, I know they're 6 seed, but this Pistons team was in the running for the worst team of all time just a year ago. They were in Charlotte Bobcats territory. And a lot of the same people that were on that team just a year ago is on the same team that just changed out their coach to bring in JB Bickerstaff. And now they're a 6 seed and they're a really good team. Yes, you had some new people like Tobias Harris and everything, but the Pistons are a good team. And let's talk about the Knicks for a second. There's a lot riding this Knicks team. There's a lot on this Knicks team. This Knicks team has a lot of pressure on it because of the moves that they made. When you trade a Julius Randle, when you trade a Dante DiVincenzo to get someone like Karl Anthony Towns, when you bring in Mikal Bridges, those are win now moves. I know that you can say they're younger in age and you can have them for the foreseeable future, but your return on investment has to be immediate. And the issues that we've seen with the Knicks outside of injury, because obviously Jalen Brunson has been out, the issue that we've seen is they have not been able to beat the top teams. They haven't been able to beat the Cavaliers. They haven't been able to beat the Celtics. They haven't been able to beat the Thunder. And it's like, when you want to consider, when you're a 3 seed, when you want to consider yourself a top tier team, these are the teams that you're going to have to beat. These are the teams that you're going to have to see going into the playoff or going into the champion or trying to get to a championship. And I mean, hell, if they beat the Pistons, they're going to have to go up against either the Celtics or the Magic, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's just like, who do you really trust? I will say this, though. A lot of people has the Pistons upsetting the Knicks. There's something about the Knicks they just don't like, and I think the Celtics is the feel good. I mean, not the Celtics. The Pistons, they're the feel good team. They're the team that obviously nobody expected to be here. Probably a lot of Pistons fans didn't expect them to be here. Cade Cunningham has been incredible. A lot of people think he might win Most Improved, which I don't know. Malik Beasley was second this year in 3-pointers made in the regular season. This is a really, really good team. The Thompson brothers really good. while the Pistons are good and they're a really good, they're a feel good story. You want to root for them. When the Knicks are playing at their best, when Jalen Brunson's playing at his best, when Mikal Bridges is playing at his best, when Josh Hart's playing at his best, when OG Anunoby's playing at his best, and most importantly, when Karl Anthony Towns is playing at his best, I don't think the Pistons have a shot in hell to beat the Knicks in a 7-game series. I may give them a game or two, but this Knicks team is there's a reason why a lot of people have them or think they can, with the personnel, make it to at least the the conference championship, conference finals. I think it would be a people would bag on and everything, and it would be a fun story to talk about the collapse or whatever. But if the Knicks were to lose against the Pacers, just forget the seeding, forget the 3 and 6 seed. If the Pistons were to beat the Knicks, this would be talked about as one of the bigger upsets of the year, and one of the biggest failures of the year, because of all the moves that they made to make this team a viable championship caliber team, that is the Knicks. And you would lose to a team in the Pistons that was just in the lottery, high draft pick just a year ago. Now, I'm not trying to disrespect the Pistons. I think that they're a really good team, and I love watching them play, which is crazy to think of how they were just a year ago. But Cade Cunningham has been incredible. He has been I think he's been good enough to at least fight for an All-NBA spot at the guard position. And Jalen Duren has been really good. I really think he needs to be better on the rebound. As big as he is, as much energy as he gives, he needs to be a little better on the defensive side of the ball as far as rebounding. But he's been good. And we all know about Isaiah Stewart. He's probably going to get ejected 1 or 2 of these games. But this team is really good. The Pistons, I just can't. When you line them up, I know everything is on paper, so it is what it is. But when you line them up and you look at the rosters, the Knicks have a far better roster. Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham. The Knicks have far better players. They're a far better team when you look at it on paper. Now, obviously, the game's not played on paper, but that means something. And I don't think the Pistons have enough to beat the Knicks. At least they shouldn't have enough. I think that they can make it a series. I think the Knicks could win in 5 or 6 games. But the Pistons are going to have to play out of their minds. And I don't know, especially with a young team like the Pistons, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. So I'm going to pick the Knicks against the Pistons. Probably the Knicks, and I'll say 5 or 6 games. The Knicks are just a better team. And I think there's a lot more pressure on them. Because there's no pressure on the Pistons. The only pressure that might be is on themselves but they did it. They got to a place where nobody thought they were going to go. This season has been a success for the Pistons, whether they beat the Knicks or not. So the Knicks, on the other hand, it is an epic failure if they don't make it out this first round, let alone we'll talk about who they have to face in the second round. But if they don't make it at this first round, epic failure. The whole state of New York is going to be upset. So I got the Knicks beating the Pistons in round 1. Now we have the Celtics and Magic. I'm not going to lie to you guys. In my opinion, this is the most lopsided matchup of the entire playoffs. And I'm not trying to disrespect any team. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. But this is the most lopsided. In my opinion, when they're playing at their best, when everyone's playing, when everyone's healthy, there's not a team in basketball that can beat the Celtics 4 out of 7 times. There's not a team that can compete with their firepower. There's not a team that can compete defensively. There's not a team that can beat this team. Now, with all that being said, there are some concerns about this Celtics team. One of which is being Jaylen Brown and his health. I mean, they're saying that he has to take painkillers and injections in his knee just to play. So clearly he's not healthy. And on top of that, they say you live by the three and you die by the three. Well, that cannot be more true when we talk about this Celtics team. I think they broke an NBA record with most three-pointers made in the history, like in a one season from a team. They let it fly. Now I will not lie. Damn near everyone on their team, actually, now I'm thinking about it, everyone on their team can shoot the three. From Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. Every single person can shoot the three on this team. And that makes them they if they're hitting on all cylinders, it is curtains for anyone they play. Now, if they're not, that kind of puts them in a tough situation. But when they're hitting, they are hitting. That's just how it's been. And fully healthy, I don't think there's a team in basketball, at least right now, that can beat this team. Now, because of that, even without Jaylen Brown, let's say Jaylen Brown is 50%. Let's say Jaylen Brown is 60%. Let's say Jaylen Brown is not 100%. I think the perfect matchup for the Celtics is the Magic, and I'm going to tell you why. I like the Magic. The Magic is a fun team. Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner. You have Cole Anthony. You have Anthony Black. It is a fun team to watch. However, the issue with the Magic is the issue that I've had with them all season. They go through lulls in the middle of the game where they can't score to save their lives. Even against the Hawks, it was the Hawks. Even against the Hawks, they ultimately won. But there was like a good 5 to 6 minute period, like 5 to 6 minute stretch consecutively where they could not score a bucket. And that is the issue with the Orlando Magic. They're one of the worst scoring teams in the NBA. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA. When they can't score, it's tough. It's tough to watch. And you're about to go against a team that scores in bunches. Like, you need to play perfect defense to beat the Celtics, and I don't think the Magic do that. Don't get me wrong. The Magic is a good team. They deserve to be here. But it is going to be tough. And this is even without Jaylen Brown. Now, Jaylen Brown is going to play. I don't know if he's going to be 100%, obviously, but I don't see an avenue where this matchup, this round is going to be competitive for the Celtics or going to be a challenge for the Celtics. I don't think to be honest with you, I'm doing this because I'm not trying to disrespect the Magic. I got them winning one game, maybe. The Celtics is just they're just on a different level. I think a lot of the reason why they're on the second seed instead of the first is because the Cleveland Cavaliers have just been playing out of their mind all year, and the Celtics, there's been times where it hasn't seemed like they've been sleepwalking through the regular season. Kristaps Porzingis missed a bunch of games, and once they kick it into gear, it's tough. Once they kick it into gear, I don't think there's a team that can beat them. They have a superstar in Jason Tatum. They have you can say superstar in Jaylen Brown. Shout out to the Magic for getting here. Shout out to the Magic for having a good season. They have Paolo Banchero. He's really good. Franz Wagner is really good. But Honestly, I don't see them winning more than one game, and that's because I'm being nice. This is not. I don't think this is going to be close in the slightest, unfortunately. So I have the Celtics winning. Yeah, yeah. Let's go over to the Western Conference, and let's start with, or let's go back to the plan and talk about this Dallas and Memphis series. Now, not series, Dallas and Memphis game, because it is the plan. I am as shocked as you guys are that Dallas is even in this situation. I thought once Anthony Davis went out, well, once you traded Luka, Anthony Davis had a really good game the first game, but he did go out. Once Kyrie Irving went out, I just thought it was curtains. I thought that they were just going to wrap it up and hope for the best. And I was shocked when we saw Anthony Davis come back. It was shocking to me. And they played incredible their first playing game. Klay Thompson, from a person that I think they played the Kings. Oh, he played the Kings 2 years in a row. So from a person that went 0 for 10 just a year ago in the playing against, I think the Kings, to now, I think he had like 24, 25 points. He was incredible. I don't. There's a lot of the Memphis Grizzlies. They can go toe to toe when we talk about personnel with the Dallas Mavericks. In fact, I think we have to say it differently. Can the Dallas Mavericks go toe to toe with the Memphis Grizzlies? The Memphis Grizzlies are one of the best offensive teams in basketball. When they're all locked in, they're one of the best defensive teams in basketball outside of John Morant. But Desmond Bane has been great. He's still Zach Edey. The Golden State Warriors was hunting Zach Edey every. I don't understand why the play was Zach Edey guard someone like Jimmy Butler. What sense was that? I don't know. But I think that the Memphis Grizzlies are a better team. I mean, record-wise, obviously, but I think the Memphis Grizzlies they're a better team, and I think the best player in this series is in this game is Anthony Davis. But we'll see when you have to go up against someone like Jaren Jackson Jr., when you have to go up against someone like Zach Edey, if he's going to be able to be as big of a factor as he could be. But I think Memphis is going to win this series or win this game. I just think you're asking a lot. I know PJ Washington is really good. Naz Muhammad has been really good. But you're asking a lot from Anthony Davis. You're asking a lot from Klay Thompson. And again, they've exceeded expectations. I didn't think they were going to make the play-in. I mean, but now think about it. You're going up against someone like this freaking Suns who can't, so. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies are just a better team. Hell, the Memphis Grizzlies had a really good shot of beating the Golden State Warriors in the first playing game. However, they can't get a ball in bounds, and John Morant rolls his ankle. So that's another thing. If John Morant's not healthy, the Dallas Mavericks have a good shot. But I mean, I haven't heard anything saying that John Morant's not playing. So, and he finished out the game against the Golden State Warriors and had a really good sequence after rolling his ankle. So, yeah, I think Memphis is just a better team. Obviously, if you take away the record, and I think that they will go up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who there's not a deeper team in the NBA, at least this year, than the Oklahoma City Thunder. That, I think, outside of having possibly the MVP of the league in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that is the thing that puts them over the top. They have incredible depth. When you talk about both J Dubs, when you talk about Chet Holmgren, when you talk about Isaiah Joe, when you talk about Lou Dort, when you talk about Harkenstein, they have a deep squad. They can go 9, 10, 11 deep, and you still feel confident in them. Now, I understand that the rotations shrink in the playoffs. That's just how it is. You don't. It's hard to rely on 10, 11 players in a series because your margin of error shrinks like considerably. And I also understand that a lot of people are, I'm not going to say buying into the hype. I think people understand how good the Thunder are. I mean, we've seen them all regular season. But a lot of people are skeptical about if they're going to be good in the playoffs. This is still the youngest team in basketball. And I think we talked about this last year. A lot of young teams don't win in the playoffs. Now, I think the thing that's helping the Thunder is they played last year and they won a series last year. Now, yes, they ultimately lost to the Dallas Mavericks in round 2 last year, and the Dallas Mavericks essentially made it to the NBA Finals. But I think this team is different. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is playing different. You have a fully blown healthy Chet Holmgren. I just think that this Thunder's team, I'll say this. I'm not going to go as far as saying that they're going to win it all. But what I will say is whether you play the Dallas Maverick, whether you play the Memphis Grizzlies, I think that the Thunder is going to beat them. I think the Thunder is just a better team. I will say that they have a better shot, in my opinion, against someone like Dallas than they would. You know how difficult it is going up against John Morant to going up against Desmond Bane, and you're gonna have to make someone like Chet Holmgren work because he's gonna have to guard Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think that the Thunder probably would want to see the Dallas Mavericks more because all you really have to worry about is Anthony Davis. They don't really have anyone else that can create their own shot consistently, but I think that they're a better team. They're the deepest team in basketball, in my opinion. And whether it's the Dallas Mavericks or the Memphis Grizzlies, I have the Thunder winning. I think it's going to get really interesting once you get to the next round, how the Thunder fare, because the matchups are obviously different, and we'll talk about it when it happens. But I'm gonna predict that it's going to be the Memphis Grizzlies that go up against the Thunder, and I think that the Thunder are gonna beat them in 6 games. I think Memphis can definitely, the way that they shoot the ball, the way that they play defense, the way they get after it on fast breaks, I think that they can win 2 games. And as we've seen from the Thunder, they struggle at times with teams. Like they struggle with the Golden State Warriors. They struggled with some of the good teams. In a sense of there are games where they probably should have won and they get embarrassed or they lose. I don't think that's going to happen with the Memphis Grizzlies, but I think that when you have to constantly guard, when Shea Gilgeous has to constantly guard someone like, or Lou Dort has to constantly guard someone like John Morant, and then Desmond Bane is coming at, like it's going to be tough. But I think that overall the Thunder are going to win this series. And I'll give them 5 to 6 games. So I don't feel good about this series when we talk about the Denver Nuggets. Obviously, the Denver Nuggets going up against the LA Clippers. This to me is a matchup that is not good for the higher seed. Obviously, the Denver Nuggets. Ever since their championship, it seems like the championship armor that you develop continues to get stripped away. Bruce Brown, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, now Mike Malone, the coach. It just seems like this. You keep chipping away at this team. And if you look this year, while yes, Jokic has been on another level. Jokic has been Jokic. He has been arguably the best player in the world. I think Russell Westbrook has had really good moments. Really good moments. He has I'm not going to say he's re-energized his career, but he's had really good moments with this team. Aaron Gordon has had really good moments. I think that this team is a good team. They just haven't played to that championship caliber that you would hope that a former championship team could play. I think a lot rides on Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has been so inconsistent this year. It's not even funny. He'll have a 30, 40, 50 point game and then follow it up with a 10, 15 point. Like, hold on now. And then I think that is going to be the championship window, or let me say the opportunity to win a championship to me rests on the play of Jamal Murray, because you know what you're going to get from Jokic, you know what you're going to get from Aaron Gordon, you know what you're going to get from Michael Porter Jr., you know what you're going to get from these players, you know what you're going to get from Russell Westbrook. It's Jamal Murray. And I'm not saying all those players are saying they're better. What I'm saying is, you know you're going to get inconsistent play from Michael Porter Jr. You know this. You know that you're going to get consistent play from Aaron Gordon. But Aaron Gordon isn't the type of player that can really go give you 30 a night. He might give you 30, maybe one or two games, but he's not giving you 30 a night. You know Jokic is a walking triple-double, walking bucket. You know what he's going to do. It's just Jokic, as we've seen, he have 60-point games and damn near lose. So I think that the fortune of this team, the likelihood of them advancing or not, based and rest on the back of the other player that's making a max, or that has a max contract on this Nuggets team, and that's Jamal Murray. And you're going up against, in my opinion, the worst case scenario for this Denver Nuggets team, and that is the Clippers team, who is on fire. They're coming into it winning, I think, 8 or 9 straight. You're going up against a healthy Kawhi Leonard, who obviously shows that when he's healthy, he's still one of the best players in basketball. You're going up against a James Harden, who, while he's not the Houston Rockets James Harden, he'll still give you, I mean, he had 38 or 33 or 38, I believe, against the Warriors in the last game of the season. Like, you're going up against a Norman Powell. You're going up against a Zubac. Like, this team is firing on all cylinders, and they're one of the hottest, if not the hottest team going into the playoffs right now. And honestly, because I don't know what we're going to get from Jamal Murray, and I think that they're going to put someone like a Kawhi Leonard on Jamal Murray, I think that the Clippers are going to beat the Nuggets. I think when you have Zubac is going to be incredibly important, because I'm not going to say that you have to stop Nikola Jokic, because that's impossible. No one has stopped Nikola Jokic. Even last year when they lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, they didn't stop Nikola Jokic. They just slowed him down and slowed everyone else. No, they didn't slow Nikola Jokic. They just slowed everyone else down. I think this is what's going to have to be the case. You're not going to be able to stop Jokic, but if you can prevent him from getting those triple doubles, if he can have 30 points, but he'll have 5 or 6 assists, you have won that battle. I know that sounds crazy, but you've won that. If he has a 45-point game, but he'll have 45, 10 rebounds, and he'll have 3 assists, 4 assists, you won that matchup, Zubac. And you won the game. The Clippers won the game. You win that matchup. That's the thing about the Nuggets, and that's the thing about playing against Jokic. He's so deadly in creating everyone else a shot that is, you have to. It's like you have to take something away, and you don't want the whole team to start getting hot because he's distributing the ball all over the place. So you want to let him score. I'm not gonna say let him score, but you want to take away the assists. And I think that the Clippers can do that. The Clippers are one of the hottest teams in basketball, and I have the Clippers because we don't know what we're getting from Jamal Murray, on top of them firing their head coach a week before the playoffs start. I think that the Clippers are going to beat the Nuggets, in my opinion. We'll see. I don't. We'll see. I love what Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is reminding people, yo, I am a 2-time NBA Finals MVP for a reason, and I'm showing y'all. So, yeah, I have the Clippers upsetting the Nuggets. This is an interesting. I mean, this is the star-studded matchup. This is the matchup where everyone's going to be talking about it. It's the Lakers against the Timberwolves. It's Luka Doncic, LeBron James going up against Anthony Edwards. This is the matchup that's going to get the most cachet. This is the matchup that's going to get the most eyes. And this matchup, here's the thing. I think this matchup is solely based on how the Timberwolves play. I know that sounds weird since they're the 6th seed, but the Timberwolves have been so inconsistent all year. Because I know Julius Randle was out a lot, but when Julius Randle plays, they've been really good. But this team, they're supposed to be better than the Lakers. The Lakers still don't have a big. Yes, you have LeBron James playing at a high level. Yes, you have Luka Doncic, who's one of the best players in the league. Thank you, Dallas. But Austin Reeves has played like the best third option in basketball. But they're decent defensively. But the Timberwolves, especially when you have Anthony Edwards, especially when you have Rudy Gobert, they're supposed to be incredible defensively, and they're just not. I mean, they blew a 20-something point lead a week ago to I think the Bucks in the fourth quarter. So when I think that it's going to be a star-studded matchup between a LeBron James and Anthony Edwards or a Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards, it's just if the Timberwolves are able to play like the defense that we know they can play, I think that they have a good shot. Well, that's another thing though, because they're not great offensively. Julius Randle's really good, and obviously Anthony Edwards. He beat out Malik Beasley in having the most 3-pointers made this season. But I don't know. I'm going to go with the Lakers. Because I think you have the two best players you have the two best players on the team, and Austin Reeves, I think, is going to be a huge factor. And they have the one thing that's going to help them is actually their weakness, and that's they don't have a big that is consistent. So what they're probably going to be able to do is they're going to be able to play small and get someone like a Rudy Gobert off the court, and that is going to hurt the Timberwolves because they're already not great defensively as a team as a whole. I know Jaden McDaniels is really good, but what is he going to do against Luke? I mean, he was getting torched against Luka last year. I'm going to pick the Lakers to win. I don't like the inconsistency that we've seen from the Timberwolves all season when we talk about defensively. This team is better. They should be better than being a 6th seed. I understand that the West was crazy towards the end of the year when we talk about records and who got in and this and the third. But yeah, I think the Lakers have 3 players that are playing at a high level right now, and the Timberwolves really have 2. And we don't know what we're going to get from Julius Randle. Last time we saw him in the playoff series, it didn't look good at all. So I'm going to go with the Lakers beating the Timberwolves in the first round. Now, I'm a little conflicted. I'm conflicted because I know what I'm seeing out of both teams. When we talk about the Rockets and Golden State Warriors, I know what I'm seeing. I know what I'm not seeing. I know where all the signs are pointing. I know what would be more interesting to watch. Let's just talk about it. Let's start with this Rockets team. It's crazy how it's felt like everyone that had an opportunity to get that 7th seed tried. I'll say it in a sense like this. Obviously, you don't want to have to play in the play-in. Nobody wants to have to play an extra game. Nobody wants to have to play an 83rd game to get into the playoffs. But when you have a chance to either be a 6 seed and you have to play LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, compared to a 7th seed, just have to win one, have to win a playing game, and now you have to play Jalen Green, Alfred Şengün, and Fred VanVleet. I get it. Now, I will give the Rockets credit where credit is due. They have been one of the best teams when we talk about offensively all year. I don't know if it's youth, great coaching, and Ime Udoka, but they've been really good all year when it comes to offensively. They will put points on your head. I think the concerning thing is defensively they're really good too, but I think that's more they have everyone flying at the ball. And I think they really only have 2 really good on-ball defenders, and that is Thompson, one of the Thompson brothers. I know he won't win, but I think that he should be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year, and Dylan Brooks. And we all know who Dylan Brooks is. But I think that when we talk about a path to trying to make it to the conference finals and ultimately the NBA finals, it's shaped up a little bit perfectly for the Golden State Warriors. And this is why I'll say it's conflicted, because we know how good the Golden State Warriors can be. I mean, we just saw Steph drop 36. Jimmy Butler dropped 38 in the play-in game. We know about playoff Jimmy. I mean, obviously we know about Steph Curry. He's a 4-time champion. We know about Draymond Green. Probably will win Defensive Player of the Year this year. We know this team. But there's a reason why, 1, they're a 7th seed, and 2, did you watch the play-in game? Did you watch the last game of the series or last game of the season against the Clippers? My issue is this. Yes, we know Jimmy Butler. Yes, we know Steph Curry. Yes, we know Draymond Green. But those 2.5, because offensively you're not getting much from Draymond Green. We know what Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler bring to the table. It's just it is so tough for them to get consistency from the rest of the team. Moses Moody has been pretty good in the starting lineup, but he's been inconsistent. Paz has been pretty good, but he's been inconsistent. Don't get me started on Buddy Hield. And I don't know what the hell or why the hell Jonathan Kuminga's in the doghouse or in Steve Kerr's doghouse. So, I mean, he didn't play the last game. I don't know if he played the last 2 games. So it's just, I know a lot of people are picking, hell, even Vegas, I think, has Golden State as a favorite to win this series. And I think experience plays a huge part too. The Rockets have a lot of young players, a lot of them. But my issue is this. Even against the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in, the Golden State Warriors had like a 20-point lead, and it evaporated like that. On top of that, Jimmy Butler went nuclear. Steph Curry went nuclear. When they're not on the floor, that's when the runs start happening. And there was some costly things that should have cost them the game. Jimmy Butler jumping up in the air, turning around and throwing. I get what he was trying to do, but he threw the ball directly to a Memphis Grizzly. Steph Curry had some really bad turnovers. When you're like, the thing that scares me about the Golden State Warriors is they need to depend on when you're in the playoff series. You're gonna have to depend on your supporting cast, and their supporting cast has not been consistent at all outside of Draymond Green. But you know what you're gonna get from Draymond Green, and it's not that much offensively. Now, last time I think the Rockets played the Golden State Warriors maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember if in fact I'm not gonna mess this guy's. I'm gonna see which brother it is. Is it a Min or a Sar? I apologize. I'm just getting. I don't want to mess this young man's name up. Amin Thompson. Amin Thompson was the primary defender for Steph Curry, and Steph Curry had 3 points. Now you can say he was tired. Cool, I get it. I'm not, but he had 3 points. Yeah, I'm not saying that Steph Curry isn't gonna, but Thompson is a really good player, and you're going up against Jalen Green, who averages 21 points. Alfred Sengun. That's another thing. They were the Memphis Grizzlies and the Clippers killed Golden State on the glass, which is kind of what. Even though Zach Edey was getting torched on the other side of the ball, Zach Edey was killing him on the boards. Zubac was killing him on the boards, and you're going up against Alfred Sengun, who's a really good defensive or really good rebounder, and Steven Adams. Now that could be at a disadvantage for the Rockets because when you put Steven Adams in the game, it could be like a Zach Edey type situation. But let me see something. I'm having, to me, even before recording this, this was the hardest one because Tari Eason's really good. This was Jabbar. This was the hardest. I'm just gonna go with Golden State because I know what they have the 2 best players, and I think this could go 6 or 7. Definitely 7. Steph averages 25 and 6. Damn, but he averages 3 turnovers a game. I'm gonna go with Golden State. I think Golden State, they just, even though I'm not confident in my pick, we know what we're getting from them. So, and obviously they're right. This is like the whole last ride thing. I think even though they didn't want to play in the play-in, they are happy that they had to see the Rockets first round instead of the Lakers. So I'm gonna go with Golden State, and yeah, there you have it. I'm gonna go round by round, so we'll see how it goes. But that's been today's episode of the Unpopular Podcast. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Obviously, basketball is my favorite sport. I'm a huge basketball fan, and I am excited that we're finally in the playoffs. Man, I'm excited. So, yeah. For all the YouTube watchers, please, and if you are seeing me on YouTube and you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. I'm trying to reach as many subscribers as I can. I'm so close to 2K followers. It means so much. So if you know someone that's not followed, if you know someone that's not subscribed, please, please, please tell them to subscribe. I'm trying to grow, and I can't do it without you guys. So for all my YouTube watchers and listeners, please, please subscribe. It means a lot. Also, for my DSP listeners, that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. I appreciate you guys wholeheartedly as well. No platform is more important than the other. If you love hearing my luscious voice, and you're not following, you're not subscribing, please do that. Please share the podcast. Please share it with your friends if you like the content. It means a lot. So I'm trying to grow on all platforms. So all my DSP listeners, please subscribe. Also, social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. please follow and subscribe there. I post pretty much daily, whether you see reels, whether you know, comments. We can go back and forth in the comments. It just means that you're listening to me, you're passionate about whatever we're talking about, and you have an opinion, and I care about all three of them. Please, keep it respectful. I don't mind going back and forth. Just keep it respectful, but please follow the socials. Again, I post pretty much daily, so that's the quickest way to get to me. Again, I'm excited about the playoffs. And we will see together. Until next time, much love.